In this video, I'll discuss this week's blog assignments to explore your writing and your communities. Communities play a central role in our writing. With the exception of a few types of writing that we do just for ourselves, such as a journal or a grocery list, most of the writing we generate is designed to be read by others. These others, our readers, are members of communities. Sometimes these communities are formal in nature, like the CI academic community you're now a part of. But most often, communities are informal and centered around activities or relationships. This week, for your ILB, you'll spend time exploring your communities and how your writing is shaped by the communities you are a part of. For the class blog, you'll try to learn more about the academic communities that you may want to enter and what types of writing goes on inside those communities. What is community? Community, at its most basic level, is a group of people. Communities can be large or small. Communities are often made up of sub-communities. Facebook can be viewed as one large community, but it's made up of many different sub-communities. If you have friends on Facebook, then you have a sub-community of the larger Facebook community. Similarly, your Facebook friends can be grouped into different sub-communities. For example, you may have CI friends as well as friends from high school on Facebook. All of these are friends, but they are separate communities. One of the ways you can identify communities and sub-communities is through language use. Communities have their own vocabularies and ways of expressing themselves, which are privileged by community users. Likewise, communities have language usage they don't care for, and you can be penalized when using language improperly in the community. Communities create standards for what is acceptable writing. Sometimes communities create these standards intentionally, like here in this class and throughout the campus. But more often, community writing standards are opaque. You can't see them. But that doesn't mean they aren't there. Community writing standards, defined or not, influence every aspect of your public writing situation. Think about your most recent post on a social media site. In creating your post with text and perhaps images, you followed community norms, which for the most part you learned from observation. Even within this class, don't you look to see what other students have done so you'll better understand how to create your next post? Even if it isn't your intention, you're taking that information in when you read another student's blog post. No one explicitly tells you how to write for the community. You pick it up by observation and trial and error. Community writing standards often clash as you move from one community to the next. You can see this with texting and school essays. The standards for texting and the standards for school essays clash with one another over things like capitalization, spelling, and punctuation. The reason why they clash is because there are two different types of readers from two different communities. If you don't keep track of which community you're writing for, your communication will not be taken seriously, and your writing can get you into trouble. While texting and essays are a fairly obvious example, there are other more subtle challenges we face as we move between our communities. An effective written response depends upon those who are reading the response. Likewise, how we organize, develop, and support our writing comes from community standards and varies between communities. This week on your ILB, I want you to tell the story of your communities and how they contribute to your writing. Define your communities and subcommunities. Identify the types of writing you do for and in these communities. Help your readers understand what makes the language of each of your communities distinct. As best you can, articulate the spoken and unspoken community writing rules for each of your communities. Also, consider the way these communities shape your thinking and writing experience. How have they contributed to making you the writer you are now? As always, do your best to show through images, pictures, and videos what you are talking about. For the class blog, your assignment is to investigate the CI Writing Guide. There's a link to the guide on CI Learn, but you can always get to the guide from MyCI. Students are often unaware that different academic disciplines or majors think differently about writing. As you move from class to class, you are moving from one academic community to another, which means different rules for writing in each class. The CI Writing Guide has been created to help you address this challenge. You'll explore and read over the guide. Select 2 different majors to investigate more in depth. Then write an essay where you describe the features of the guide and its value to students. Your essay should address the question, to what extent is the guide beneficial to students? I look forward to reading what you think. See you in class.